Hello, hello, hello. So, by the way, this is my greens as well. So I've got Kangen here and I got my greens here. So, couple of things that I want to go through on this team call that has been happening over the last couple of weeks, really, for me personally, but certainly as I was wrapping up the end of last year. My whole focus has been on just really life. That's really been my whole focus. I've kind of put my Enagic business not on hold by any means, but certainly not giving it as much attention as I have, especially for the last 9 years, because I've been full time with it. So quite a few things have changed, as you may or may not be aware, for Beth and I, with regards to stopping traveling after 2.5 years traveling Australia full time. We actually figured out that last year we had 6 months, so half the year spread out a little bit, but in particular 2 months and then a gap for 2 months and then 4 months with family on holiday, doing what we could in between, but mainly enjoying holiday time with friends, family members, and travel. So that took a lot, and we got married as well in that time. So that took a lot of our attention and focus away. So I think what's important to be aware here is that when energy isn't put into something, naturally, it isn't going to grow. Okay, so if you want, for instance, your plants to continue to grow or blossom or deliver fruit, they need to be nurtured. It's just common sense, really, or it's at least sense, because as we know, sense isn't always common. So I think what's important for us to be aware here, when we look at our business, where the time and energy is going into it, and if things are happening in our lives that need our time and attention, then that's fine. And the biggest thing that I've learned along the journey is acceptance. Like I can get frustrated about things and go, well, that's not how I wanted it to be, and it's not where I want to be, or how things should be. But what can I do to change that? So I've got to make a decision then. Well, where's the sacrifice going to take place? Is the sacrifice going to be then that if I'm supposed to be, or I want to be rather, with family members to help them, but I'm not there because I want to focus on my business, then the sacrifice is going to be towards the family and things that are important to me there, but also to be able to put my energy into things that are important for me as well, such as my business, and vice versa. So there always has to be this give and take. So this is just my experience. Now, some people will disagree with me, but especially with regards to the size of my business, the amount of people in there, the conversations that I have, the things that come up for other people in the team members, aside of myself, that I witness all these things happening. And the reason why I don't put pressure on any team member is because I can see how it's affecting them. I also have my own personal experience in some of these areas. But in particular, if somebody needs time because they've lost a family member, or they're sick, or they've lost their job and they're trying to get their head around stuff, or whatever it might be. Okay, there's the human element, there's the emotions that are taking place, and unless you've done a lot of work on emotional intelligence and you've mastered being able to control your emotions, then you are going to be impacted. Like, that's just the human experience. And it can slow us down in regards to our business and our desired goals and results and things like this. So what's important is finding our way and accepting what comes up along the journey and looking at things and like assessing them, not in a testing format, but assessing them to see what are the lessons. One of my greatest mentors and great friend, Corey, always says to me, what's the lesson, Martin? What have you learned from this? Like, don't get caught up in it all. Just what have you learned from it? What can you do better? What worked well? Russ Van talks about this. What worked well? What didn't work well? What was missing? What can be improved? And these are the reason why I incorporate this, especially why it's so important with the check-in each week and the check-in at the end of the month, is it gives you the opportunity to just take some time for you to figure out where you're at, what you've learned, what worked well, what didn't work well, what was missing. And if the missing was, well, my goal was to speak to 5 new people this week, and I didn't speak to any because something happened that took my time, you're able to look at that and go, well, I know why I didn't get there. What can I do to improve next week? What can I do? What did I learn from that experience? Did it need as much energy and time as I gave to it, or didn't it? Was I actually procrastinating? You know, these things are all really, really important, and it doesn't matter like how much you listen. And I'm going to go somewhere with this in a moment. It doesn't matter how much you listen to, you know, incredible mentors and motivational speakers or people in the industry, or specifically in Enagic, that are saying about the results they're having and what you've got to do, if you're not in the right state of mind for it. But the only way really that you can shift that energy is by taking action. That's literally what I found. Tony Robbins always said about, to change your state, you just got to go. If you reflect on the audio that I put in, or a stroke video that I put in from John C. Maxwell, talking about the 5 levels of leadership, he spoke about momentum. And when you have momentum, then it can't be stopped. So the only thing stopping momentum is ourselves. Like, we have to look at ourselves and go, why am I stopping this? What am I doing that is preventing this? Because it's got nothing to do with anybody else. We may find excuses and reasons, and we may try and convince ourselves that it's to do with others, but there really isn't any excuse. There really isn't, because all that it is we're prioritizing something else over it. That's all that it is. So I've learned that there's certain times that, for me personally, where I'll, as an example here, and I was talking to, on the personal development call, we were talking about becoming a master of productivity. And this was last week's call. I believe I uploaded the replay for everyone to access. And we're speaking about becoming a master of productivity. So not a master of being busy, a master of being productive. Okay, so what are you producing? What is it that's working? And although the conversation was talking about the importance of it not just being work stroke business related, all about the areas of life, we were also discussing the importance of how this productivity comes with something. And in particular for me, and no doubt others, maybe yourself or other people in the team, the community, and family members, friends, and so on around you, is the dopamine hit. Now, if you don't know anything about the chemicals in the body and the way that things work, definitely advise you start looking into that. I actually did a whole big breakdown mastermind all about the chemicals. In fact, I'm going to do it again. A lot of that was inspired by Simon Sinek's work. So endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, cortisol as well. So they're significant, but in particular, dopamine hit is like moments of happiness. Like it's trying to get the end result, trying to get there. So as an example of this, for me, when I start a job, I want to finish it as fast as I can. I just want to get it completed. And it's not that I'm not enjoying the journey. I want the dopamine hit of finishing it and going, woohoo, done it. Kind of like when you've got a list of tasks, jobs to do on a list. You've written down all the tasks that you want to get done, and you're like drawing a line through them, or you're ticking them, whatever you do, dopamine hit, bang, finish, woo. Or if you didn't even write it down, I tend to do this one. You didn't even write it down, but you did it, and you're like, I'm just going to write that down so I can cross it out, or draw a line through it, or tick it, or whatever it is, and go, hey, I did that. It's the dopamine hit that we get from that, and it keeps us going. So what I've realized is that for me to get that dopamine hit, I'll often keep going and going and going and going, kind of like the Energizer Bunny, and just going and going. Oh, is it Duracell? I can't remember. But to get that dopamine hit, because if I don't finish it, I don't get the dopamine hit, and I actually see myself then as failed. That's the kind of level of an expectation I have on myself, which is probably classed as perfectionist syndrome. But the challenge I have there is that there's throughout that time of me doing that task, as in this example, I am sacrificing other things. So instead of enjoying the journey to, let's say, 3 o'clock and then going, instead of me working till 5 on this, I'm going to do till 3 o'clock. And then the last 2 hours, I'm going to go and get some other stuff done here to keep momentum or to gain momentum, depending on where I'm at. So this for me, since the start of 2024, has been so significant, as we've, as some of you may know, or all of you know, and you're definitely going to know now if you're watching, that stopping traveling, getting the caravan up for sale, sorting out my new vehicle, getting my tools so I can go back and do all the carpentry and building that I love. And like, you know, couple of months on now, if not 6, 7 weeks on, I'm loving it, absolutely loving it, not liking it, loving it, like totally filling my cup, feeling so healthy and fit. I can see what I'm getting done at the end of every day. Yes, I've been physically exhausted, and it's been some of the hottest days I've ever experienced. However, I'm loving it. And I think what's so important here is this, for me, it's been all go, 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 get all the jobs done. I want to see the finished products of what I'm building and creating done in that day. And for a period there's been this, my body wasn't used to physical movement. I spent most of my day, if not sat in the chair driving, or going for walks, or just sat in front of this computer screen working on my computer. So my body isn't used to this level of physical exercise. It isn't used to this level of heat, because I've mainly been in air-conditioned areas. And if I've been out walking, we've tended to go earlier in the day when it's cooler. Whereas I'm in buildings where in most cases there's no air conditioning, it's absolutely roasting, and I'm doing a physical job that I'm not physically fit enough for right now. So these are all significant in regards to then how I feel at the end of the day, because I'm tired. So I haven't been interested in getting on my computer and doing work. Yes, I have been showing up for the team members. Yes, I've been communicating with any people who are interested for more information or to join the team, whatever it might be. Yes, I've been making time, but nothing like what I was before, because I don't have the same availability. So I've had to go through this, and I'm still going through it, this adapting phase from doing the business full time for the last 9 years, when I started with no income, and just going all in on it and just making everything happen, doing what I had to do. And literally kind of the saying of shoveling mud and throwing it against the wall and seeing what sticks. Like, that was it. I had no support, nothing from my sponsor. His sponsor above that was like, Kangen Water's the best. That's all you need to know. Like, that wasn't of value. Okay. But it helped me take action and become the person I am, of the level of knowledge that I've got and how I'm seen in the company and the impact that I've made. So, and I'm not self-made by any means, because every single person and interaction that I've had, or that people have created content that I've learned from, they have helped me become the person I am. There's no self-made person cannot stand it when people proclaim that, or about themselves or about others. Nobody's self-made. From the moment we're born, we need somebody. And that person or those people help us become who we are, help us survive and thrive. So in this space, what does it show? That we need others. We need to lean in on others. We need to lean in on the information. Everyone's learning. Bob Proctor on the Working with the Law video. Where's my book? Now then, where did I put my book? That's a strange one. I usually have it around here. Anyway, it will appear if it's supposed to come back out. As he says, as he's still continuing to search for it because he can't stop. I've got a book called Working with the Law by Raymond Hollywell. And but Bob Proctor in particular covered each of those chapters on a video If you're interested in it, let me know. But I'm pretty sure if you're in the Your Desired Success group and go and search working with the laws, we are working with the law, or universal laws, or Bob Proctor. If you go and search in the Your Desired Success Facebook group, you will see the video there. Highly recommend it. Great video. Can't actually remember what I was saying about that. I'm referencing that. But the importance of like learning from others and stepping into that and gaining that information and that knowledge to then share. So this is what Bob had said. He said, information from other people that you're receiving. So the information comes to me, it travels through me, and then onto you. So when you ask me a question in specifically about Enagic, or whether it's the products, the company, the business, whatever it might be, that information has come to me, it's channeled through me or traveled through me, and then I'm gifting it onto you. And that's what's happened all the way through. Yes, we've had our own experiences in life, and we've fallen over and we've realized, hey, don't jump off that, or don't run that fast on that kind of, on ice, whatever it might be. We've learned lessons, because there's a lesson in everything to help us become better, to become aware of things. But the important part of it is that we're all passing this information on. But the only way you receive that information is when you're open to receive that information, meaning your intention is set that I am open. I am open to learn this. I am open to watching this video to learn how to do this. And not one of the things that Alex Hormozy said, you do not learn by sitting and listening to somebody like this right now expressing things. You do not learn by listening to an audio while you're driving. You do not learn by going to a seminar, paying money to go and sit and listen to somebody. You only learn when you put what this is shared with you into action, when you have that spiritual experience. So everything I'm saying to you right now, if you've never done any of it, it is an intellectual understanding that is being created right now, not a spiritual understanding, an intellectual understanding. And if it resonates with you, and if you feel empowered and in an alignment, you are going to take action on that. And when you take action on that, you're going to have a spiritual experience. So let's now connect that in regards to the Enagic side of things. What you've got here is you own the product or products. Therefore, it started with an intellectual understanding as to why you would need the products for yourself. Then you bought them and you're drinking the water. You may be using the different waters for cleaning, for cooking, for whatever it might be, skincare and so on. And you're benefiting from them, and you're having now a spiritual experience to the point where you believe and in fact know the value. And then you want to share that with other people. You want to see them benefit from it. You want to hear of their stories of how they've benefited from it. You want to hear of their spiritual experience. And what happens is, especially in this business, but in particular with the Enagic products, everyday people have opinions. And the opinions are based on their beliefs and their intellectual understanding. In most cases, and I would argue every case, their opinions are not based on spiritual experience. Not based on spiritual experience. For instance, if someone says to me, oh, I tried that Kangen water and it was no good, I go, how long did you try it for? And they go, oh, well, a couple of weeks or a couple of months. And I go, maybe it wasn't long enough. Oh, well, I'd heard of other people saying it, they felt great in day one. Or, yeah, but we're talking about the human body. We're not talking about a pharmaceutical drug. Like, even if you take herbal medication, they say it can take 3 to 6 months for your body to start responding the way it's intended. Well, how many people are going to do a water trial for 3 to 6 months? How many people are going to give water for 3 to 6 months? I did. There's a few people in my network that I just gave water for them for 6, 8 months. And eventually they bought, but it was just a case of giving them. There was other people buying within a couple of days, if not straight away after looking at some information, others a couple of weeks. But I know for myself, when I bought the KA, and Esper and Ukon, which didn't even look at the business model, wasn't even interested in the business. But when I bought those 3 products for my own health was the only reason I did.
and my partner at the time, but she wasn't that interested. It was more my decision. It was my money, and I invested that in the products. If I had been drinking the fresh Kangen water from the K8, so the best health properties from it, over 2 weeks, I wouldn't have bought it if I was on trial. Why? No way. I didn't notice any difference. In fact, I went down. I actually felt really tired, like exhausted. So if my mindset was, and I didn't understand how the human body functions, unfortunately, with at that time over 20 years of experience in and around the health and fitness industry, around nutrition and movement and so on, my awareness was around detoxing. I was fully aware of what I was going through. But the majority of people would go, oh, I don't feel very well. That's no good for me. Straight away. Because it's easier to push something away to protect ourselves, to justify not investing that kind of money, or saying, oh, well, it doesn't work for me. And I'm one of those people that, hey, give it time. Like I've just been watching a video, and the guy was saying there's over 1,400 clinical peer-reviewed studies on hydrogen water and the importance of it and how beneficial it is. So does that mean that it's not good for you? I would argue that you need to give it time. And when I say time, I'm saying at least 12 months. That's my own personal belief. When I was seeing my naturopath, she said to me, I was telling her about, well, I actually got on what's called an EIS scanner. So had these probes attached to me and stood on these plates and stuff. And the open skeptic that I am means that, yes, I'm going, really, but I will give it a go. And I didn't say anything to this person, to this naturopath, about my injuries that I had sustained over the years. And I got on this scan thing, and it brought up and it highlighted red rot down at L4, L5, S1 in my lower back, the disc herniations I had. And she said, oh, do you have lower back problems? And I was like, yeah. And it could see, like, my sciatic nerve was inflamed. You could see all this on this screen. It was literally just these probes on me, and it highlighted all this stuff. And from there, it gave this full report of all this stuff that was going on, EIS scanner, it's called. And from the information there, she was then able to advise what herbal supplements that I would take. So not open skeptic allowed me to go, I'll give this a go, to then see the information, to then believe in it. Okay, I'm telling you now, like, it's amazing. And I've done it multiple times over the years now, going this thing. But at the time, one of the challenges I was having was water retention. I was always feeling dehydrated, but I was drinking like 4 to 6 liters of water a day. Just couldn't get hydrated, felt bloated. And when we went on this thing, she's like, your body, there's so much water retention, but your cells are so dehydrated. And I did blood tests and so on. Nothing came up that was like disease or illness within me, but everything was just so slow, and my cells weren't hydrated. So when I found out about Kangen water, which, as I mentioned at the time of this, it was February 2015, so it's 9 years ago. One, I was blown away that I'd never been educated about water other than drink water, it's good for you. That was it. There was different water types, different water qualities, and so on. Yes, I was aware filtered water and bottled water were cleaner than tap water. However, didn't know much more than that. So, when I saw what I saw, I obviously then went, I need this product. My intuition was like, I need this product, and bought it. And I went to my naturopath, I think it was 6 weeks later, that was the next scan. I went and she's like, wow. And she'd given me these cell food drops, and like I'd bought them. But as soon as I got the Kangen water, I wasn't using them. She's like, wow, those cell food drops made massive difference that I haven't used them. She's like, well, what have you done different? I've been drinking Kangen water. And she was like, what? And I explained to her what it was. And she's like, never heard of it. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm bearing in mind, I'm trying to explain something that I don't really know anything about, other than I watched a few videos. Wow, made sense. Bought it. having bought it based on intellectual understanding, and then had this spiritual experience and understanding to, I'm like, it's amazing. Everybody needs it. So the power of this is in that experience to then be able to share that on. That's the power of it. That's where the momentum is. So when I was talking about momentum earlier, there's things that are going to happen that are going to give you the confidence and the clarity, and in fact, the certainty. And as human beings, we love certainty. We hate uncertainty, where we love certainty. So as human beings, we're ready to go. And I was in a position where I was just wanting to share it with people. That's the driver. The driver is seeing somebody else experience something better. Me going to sleep at the end of the day, knowing that I contributed in a positive way to society, to somebody else experiencing something better, somebody else going to sleep feeling better because I contributed in to me, through me, to you, or to them. That's the power of what's driving, which then means that the goal or the result is I have to be detached. I can't be attached to it because it's totally out of my control. The only thing that's in my control is me communicating to people about it. That's the only thing I'm in control of, which then brings it back to our business. And the only thing that we have to do really, like, forget about, I need to know the paperwork, I need to know where to send people to, I need to know what information to send people to send information to them. I need to know when I'm going to get paid. I need to know what's going to happen when people join. They are all future problems that are good problems to have. But none of them are even in your reality until you've started marketing, until you started speaking to people, until you started working your network, your database, until you've actually started posting on social media and you've got people asking you. Because I tell you, the fastest way to get to know how to process paperwork, which paperwork to use, which websites to send people to, what information, the fastest way to get to them, to learn exactly what to do, start marketing. Because when people reach out to you, they will ask you the questions, which then prompts you to take the action. I had no idea. I didn't even spend any time with paperwork and where to send people and what to do. The only thing that I did was start giving people water. And these weren't friends or family members, didn't have those people here in Australia. I literally just come out of a mental hospital after a breakup with a girl that I was engaged to 5.5 years. And and most of my friends, because I'd lived in Australia pretty much that amount of time, were all her friends. So even though we didn't break up on an argument or anything like that, I just was in a different place mentally and not stable mentally, hence why I was in the hospital, to the point where I had to go out there and just meet people. And, like, believe it or not, I was extremely shy as a child growing up. And coming to Australia on my own, I had no other option but to make friends. And I learned how to make friends because I love people. So just putting myself in environments, just having conversations with people, finding people with similar interests and values makes conversation fairly easy. Yes, it's challenging if someone doesn't have the same values as you, but they're still a human being. There's still questions. I love asking people questions. Beth, my wife, is like, oh, I'm like, if we're in a situation where somebody's asked Beth something and I know that she doesn't want the conversation to continue because she's got other things to do, whatever it might be, we're walking the dog and she just wants to get home, whatever it is, I'm like chewing on my tongue and my teeth to ask questions to this person or to encourage Beth to interact. But I also am aware that, hey, Beth has got other things that are a priority to her other than just having a conversation with a person that we've just met. Like, we don't know yet. And obviously, everyone's a stranger until we get to meet them and then we become friends. So all of these things are really significant in regards to how we show up, how we connect, how we interact with people, how we can make an impact, and everything else just follows on. And think of a time in your life where you didn't know the next steps. Like, you know, even in your work environment right now, like, forget the Enagic business, even at work, you would have to learn, okay, well, if I do this, then what, once I've done this, what do I do next? Okay, now I know the first step, I know the second step, what do I do for the third step? And eventually all those steps just become a habit, and you don't even have to think about it. It's kind of like driving. You know, we've just done 60,000+ Ks around Australia in an automatic, and I jump into a manual, not have to think about clutch, changing gear, engine braking with the gears. I don't have to think about anything like that. It's in my subconscious. Yet for 2.5 years, I didn't have a manual car. In fact, I hadn't had a manual car since 2012. So that was what, 9-10 years ago, before, like, I do the math, 12 years ago, you know, 13 years ago, 12 years ago was the time when I had a manual car. Yeah, I was still able to jump in and do the gears. So it all starts to come, and you just learn as you go, and learn as you go, and learn as you go. But if you don't do the first steps, if you don't do the bits that help you get the momentum, you know, like the train that's in the station that doesn't start the engine, that doesn't, oh, excuse me. I had accidentally locked the fly screen. Well, not accidentally, but I forgot Beth didn't have a key for it. So yeah, the train that's in the station, and the train driver doesn't start the engine, there's no way it's going to move. There's just no way it's going to move. But even with the engine on, doesn't mean it's going to move anywhere. And that's the same as me sitting in front of the computer, just looking at it, or scrolling through Instagram, or scrolling through Facebook. Like, just because I'm on my phone or my laptop doesn't mean that I'm posting content that's relevant to what my desired outcome, that's of value to anyone viewing it. So when I get on my laptop, and I'm not a fan of my phone, like, so, you know, I don't tend to do many posts on my phone at all. I don't tend to do much interaction. I prefer to be in front of the screen. That's just me. Not saying it's right nor wrong. It's just me. And this is a part of your business where you find what fits you well, what makes you most productive. Because I could be busy all day on this, but I am far more productive on my laptop, far more productive. So, the engine's on the train on my laptop right now. So my next thing is then, well, when am I going to release the brakes and then push it into a forward motion? And that kind of thing is then, when am I going to make sure I've got the plan so I know where I'm going? Because if the train driver doesn't know where he's going, he's probably going to go somewhere where the passengers aren't happy about. Okay? There's a saying, if you get in somebody's boat and they're rowing, they're going to take you where they want to go, not necessarily where you want to go. So think about that. When you get in, what is it that you want? Where are you going? What is important with you? What's in alignment with you? We've just seen Robin Ann has been posting a lot about her religious belief, so her faith in God, and she feels extremely empowered. Now, that's her, what she needs for her to help her gain that momentum. She wants to be able to express that, and it's authentic for her to do that, irrelevant of what anybody else thinks. you know, whether they have faith in, or believe in God or whatever, it's totally irrelevant. What's relevant is for Robin in her world. And if it brings joy to Robin, that's good for the whole world. That's good for her and her business. That's good for her and her life. The next part of that is, how do you then implement that energy, that vibration into your marketing? Not necessarily saying you have to be talking about God all the time, but just saying, how do you bring that in so that you can then utilize that energy to be able to put it out there to the world, to be able to share? And it doesn't matter how you do it, because everything you do is test and measure in business when you're posting. There is no, some of the posts or some of the videos I've done on me, like this video, oh, this is my best video today. And crickets, like crickets. And the amount of people that I've spoke to who have, I'd say, who have done well on social media would say there was no one video that, or one post that I was like, this is the one. I just kept going and going and going and going with no attachment to which ones, just posting content. And even when you listen to, especially I like listening to podcasts, particularly Jay Shetty's podcasts, and you can watch them on YouTube, you can watch them, you can listen to them on his on podcasts on your phone. So when you listen to what they're saying to people, and they go, oh, it was that one video that got traction. Didn't expect it. It was just that one video that got in front of the right people, or the right person, that put it in front of somebody else, or at the time there was something happening and it linked in and somebody found it and was like, oh, amplified that. Like, that's the power. And when you actually look at this, so you look at the most successful people of our time, as an example on social media, we call them influencers when they get to that level, that stage. But they're only influencing people. People are buying into their philosophies, their beliefs, their commitments, whatever it is, whatever they're selling. And selling doesn't have to be a service or a product. It literally can be what they're saying. Like right now, I've been sharing information with you, and I've been selling you, not intentionally selling you, but selling. Every time I'm speaking and you're listening, you're either being sold to, or if we were in a conversation where you were on this call live with me and interacting with me, then you would be able to sell back to me, where I'm going, oh yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, I resonate with that. That's me being sold on that. It's not this like societal negativity of me being more powerful than you, or you being more powerful than me. It's this exchange. It's just a mutual exchange. Whether I resonate or I don't resonate, it's just an exchange. And I've actually been diving deeper, and I'll drop in with this around Sell or Be Sold by Grant Cardone. I've been listening to this for the last couple of weeks. His book on audio, which I think came out in 2012. So it just came out. I joined network marketing in 2013. So it came out just before, and I remember getting it back in 2013, the audio, and starting to listen to it. And I'm now at a stage where I've been challenging myself, in particular, to listen to it, because I find Grant Cardone can be very like ego-driven. However, I thought, you know what, I'm feeling like I need to listen to it. Started playing it and really resonated with the first introductory chapter, and thoroughly enjoying it. Yes, there's things that I'm like, oh, Grant, come on. But there's other things like, wow, Grant, that was amazing. So, and he even talks about Kangen water in I think it's chapter 9. So, and I will gift it you for free. I'll gift you the audio if you want it. But I'll do a post about that in the group for the team. So but the importance is that you've got to be marketing if you want the results, if you want your business to grow. And when you look at the foundation of Enagic, and I think this is where it's really important to, when we talk about the plan, as I mentioned before, Mr. Oshiro, okay, the founder of Enagic, privately owned by Mr. and Mrs. Oshiro. When Mr. Oshiro decided on why Enagic exists, so if you've not watched The Golden Circle by Simon Sinek, I encourage you to watch it. It's about 17, 18 minutes on YouTube, The Golden Circle. Or if you go to simonsinek.com, I think it'll be the first video that comes up on his homepage on his website. And it was a TED Talk, him talking about the Golden Circle, why, how, what. And why is in the center, how, and then what. Whereas most businesses know what they do, how they do it, but don't tend to know why they do it. So Mr. Oshiro was driven by the why. He knew exactly why he was going to build Enagic, exactly how Enagic was going to help people and what the benefits were for people, in particular, us as distributors. So when you learn more about Enagic in particular, Mr. Oshiro lost siblings during the war. I think it was his sister and a brother, or I can't remember the sexes or genders, but he basically lost siblings during the war when he was a child. He also got a waterborne illness. He also worked in the Sony Corporation that went through a downturn, I think it was in the 60s, late 60s, and had to lay part of the workforce off. And he was part of a team of guys who were laid off, and he used to call them his brothers. Even though they weren't blood related, he still said they were part of his family. He went through hard financial times, struggling to support his wife and his son. Now, when you hear about that, he's an everyday person, just like you and I and everybody else out there who goes through hardships. No one's going to get it where it's all really easy for them. We go through hardships. So, but we learn and we grow. And what we do from that is we're inspired to make changes, to do things differently, and to do things better. And Mr. Oshiro, when you look at Enagic, created the true health philosophy, which has those pillars. Physical health, remember, lost his family members, got sick. Relationship and mental health, family members, friends in his workforce. Financial health, because of struggled with finances. He then chose the direct sales model, not being selfish as a company. We'll create the products, we'll market the products, we'll sell the products and keep all the profit. No, I want to help other people experience the benefit of the Enagic products. I want to help other people benefit from sharing the Enagic products with other people. Financially, I want to help them, even though knowingly he knows that the energy that they're going to receive, the contribution, the level of compassion that's needed to help other people, they're going to receive energetically and feel great. He's still going to reward them financially. So, and I can tell you that, I've been very fortunate in Enagic. I've worked extremely hard. I've given a lot of energy and time and focus to Enagic, but I've been extremely fortunate in regards to what I've earned with Enagic. I've earned a lot of money. I've been paid a lot of money over the years, but I've given a lot. And anyone who has the negative opinion of, oh, the prices are too high because you lot get paid too much, has no idea what they're talking about. Absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Because those kind of people would definitely not go and give without expecting to receive. That's their philosophy. The people who do this expect to give and trust that whatever they are given back from the universe or the higher power, whatever they believe in, that the universe, in my language right now, is going to deliver. But what it's going to deliver in is often not in the way that we expect it. And I can tell you right now, what I experience in people expressing their gratitude to me, thanking me for introducing them to the products, or for helping them get set up with the products, or for what they're physically experiencing with the product, or what they're experiencing with the business model and the people that they're meeting and so on. What I experience and feel from that level of gratitude, that energy, is far greater than the money that I see in my bank account. Far greater. Because at any point, we can replace that money. It comes in and it goes. You know, the $1,000 that was in the that I spent recently. I don't have any like feeling towards the $1,000 that came in and then that went out. What I have a feeling to is why I got that $1,000. So if Enagic paid me, as an example here, if Enagic paid me $1,000 today, then the only reason I'm getting that $1,000 is because I've helped somebody else. And my interaction, my conversation, the communication, the rapport that's been built, the potential friendship that's blossoming from that is far greater energetically than the $1,000 that I've been paid today in this example. Because I know that sometime along the journey, that $1,000 is just going to disappear out my bank. Yes, it's going to go towards something, but there's no energetic, emotional attachment to the money. The money that was spent to go over to the UK to see my family and friends, the energetic attachment, the feeling is towards going to be with family and friends, not, hey, this cost me $2.5 grand for a flight ticket there and back. That's irrelevant. The experience that I'm having on the flight and then the time with them is what's important. Because the $2.5 grand's gone. But I know that there'll be another $2.5 grand that comes in. There'll be more that comes in. And that's why you look, when we look at the business model and why Mr. Oshiro chose that, it's to truly give back. It's to truly help contribute to society. It's to help every single one of us experience something greater. Because if you expect to, if when you expect to go to work and you finish, let's just say you do Monday to Friday, you do an average of 40 hours in the week, you expect, if your contract says this, to be paid on the Friday. At the end of the week, you expect, I gave my time, I gave my energy and I created this or I did this or whatever it might be, I should be paid. Like, that's an employee mindset. That's just the way that it is. And that's fine. There is nothing wrong with that. But when somebody comes along and says, hey, if you value your health, if you value relationships with other human beings, if you want to contribute to helping other people experience something better and enjoy their life and build communities around the world, then we've got a company that's doing that, a product that's helping people with their health, and we're going to pay you for that. Now, to me, if anyone has those first 3-4 areas of values in their life where they value their health, they value relationships, they value their mental health, they value connection, they value contribution, they value their financial health for their own self and family members, then it makes no sense why they would walk away from that opportunity. To me, makes zero sense. It's either ego or they just really don't have those values. The amount of people I've had conversations with over the years and said, hey, is your health one of your top 5 values? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I ask a few more questions and soon find out that they'd rather take medication, they'd rather stay on the medication, they'd rather continue to drink drinks that are actually causing more acidity, they continue to eat foods that are causing more acidity. Health is not a value. I'd argue it's not in the top 50. Never mind top 5, but that's their journey and their life. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly fine. But the people who truly value things that I've like expressed today will find a way to make time to give their energy in regards to time, the most important commodity that we have, to learn, to potentially grow, to make an educated decision that is based on an intellectual understanding that then leads to a spiritual understanding where they are able to express gratitude to themselves firstly for making that decision, and then out to others who have contributed to them making that decision. Remember, to me, through me, to you. You have to make that decision on the information that's being shared. You have to make that decision. And the only way you get momentum is by doing that. So Mr. Oshiro is giving us, this is my belief and my language. Mr. Oshiro is like giving us this gift. Hey, I've created all of this. I'm going to take care of everything in regards to the paperwork being processed so that the product is coded to the customer. I'm going to take care of shipping. We've got a service department that can help as well with anything there. What I need you to do is go out there and speak to family members, friends, people that you meet, post on social media platforms. Everything is a platform. Just do whatever, whether it's a platform to your family members, to your friends, to your work colleagues, to social media, on social media, to people that you're connected to in some way, shape, or form. Utilize all your platforms and go out there and share the message. And when people decide to purchase through you, I am going to pay you. I am going to express my gratitude in a way of helping you and your family financially. Now, if you or anyone else has a problem with that, then gift that money on. Because one of the fastest ways to experience fulfillment is to gift it onto somebody who needs it maybe more than you, which then means the contribution that you're giving to helping other people experience the value of the products. Remember, when somebody buys the product, you haven't sold them the product. They sold themselves on buying the product. But there's this whole misconception and misbelief. People go, oh, you're just a snake salesman, or you're snake oil salesman, or what a load of rubbish, you're just a salesperson, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, hey, I give you the information. I don't take your credit card and put it through and then you've got a product that you don't want. I provide you with the information. You look at the information and become further educated. You gain a level of awareness to the information. With that new level of awareness, you're then able to make an educated decision if the information's in alignment with who you are, what you want to experience, your next step, your values. If it is, you will make a decision, just like I did. Just like I did. So the person, the sponsor who shared the information with me, I bought based on the information. I didn't buy because of him. He was simply a messenger in that information getting to me. Remember, to me, through me, to you. So he was simply the person carrying on the message. And I received it. I was open to receiving it. And I made an educated decision for my own health. 9 years on, I still believe. And I remember 9 years ago, I was in and around the health industry for over 20 years. 9 years on, I still believe today it is the single best health decision that I have made in regards to purchasing product, without a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt. Irrelevant of if somebody watching this or, family or my own friends don't agree with me or don't believe me, that's totally irrelevant. Because pretty much all of them, I'd say, haven't even looked at the information. They don't own the products. They may have watched a video or, made some comment on something or whatever it might be. But like my mum owns the product. She absolutely loves it. She's helped loads of people with it because she wanted to just share it with other people and help them. And they love the product. So it goes to show you that our role as distributors is simply to contribute to the benefit of somebody else in their life. And it is an absolute honor and gift and blessing to be able to do that, irrelevant of if they choose to buy or not. If they do choose to buy, fantastic. Even better if they choose to buy through you. I'm connected to thousands of distributors all around the world that haven't bought through me, that have bought through others, but then found me. And they express their gratitude in regards to how I show up and the contribution that I have for them. Would I love for more people to be in my team and have helped them? Absolutely. Hey, but I can't help everybody. And I'm aware of that. The people that choose to come with me are people that align and resonate with me. If that's directly, they resonate with me, they choose to align with me, they want to access all the free level of value that I give, they want to have one-on-one calls, they want to be a part of the team. If they come through other team members, They're going to receive this level of value as well. They're going to be able to connect. I'm going to contribute and help them, because to see somebody else succeed and know that you've helped contribute to that is one of the greatest gifts in life. It makes you feel alive. It makes you feel like you've actually contributed to society. Like, it's significant. It's life. Contribution. And when you look at the 6 human needs around variety, certainty, love, love stroke connection, personal growth, and then the final one's contribution. And what you tend to find, especially depending on who you listen to, but especially when you look at some of the biggest or most influential people of our time, like Richard Branson, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, love them or loathe them, it's irrelevant. These people contribute in some way, and in most cases, you don't even know about it. Like, it's not out there on the media, and the media tends to focus on the stuff that sells the stories, like the negative, because as long as we keep the majority of the population, the 96, 98% of the population down, then we're in control. And if you don't believe me, read the book Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Like, phenomenal book. There's even the audio that I think Sharon Lecter produced, might be on YouTube. Phenomenal. Read that book. Or audio is great because there's basically Napoleon Hill and the devil, and not the devil as we've been led to believe. What religion's done there, and I was brought up Catholic, but it's really good because as a visual learner, even though I'm listening to the audio, I'm able to separate the two rather than the book. I found it's not as easy, but so I really enjoyed the audio element. And it's significant, like so significant that it really helped a lot of things for me come together. And I think these are the things that we need to look at, what we need to be aware of. And all of this stuff is just another stepping stone to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. And it's all helping us on our journey. And one of the beautiful things that I found in this business and received from this business and gained from this business is the level of personal growth, and how much I've been willing to invest in my own personal growth to be able to become better. And that doesn't mean better in the business. That means better in life, to be able to deal with situations, to be able to respond rather than react, to be able to communicate more effectively, not just in talking, but also in listening. Like, there's no point in me talking when the person that has already expressed something, I'm not even speaking the same language, because I'm not listening, because I'm more interested in what I have to say than what they're saying. There's no connection there. Especially in this business, like, because as I mentioned, I love people. That's why I'm in this business. If I didn't love people, I'd need to be selling toothbrushes or DVDs on Amazon or whatever it might be. But I have no desire to do that because it's cold, like cryptocurrency and all that. It's cold. I have no interest in it. I love people. So I want to be engaging with people. I want to be having conversations. I want to be able to mastermind on challenges with people that they're going through in their personal life, in their business life, to help each other. Even for me to be able to lean in and go, hey guys, this is what's going on, or hey, so-and-so, this is what's happening right now. Just after some advice, what do you think? Have you gone through this situation before? What would you do? Those kinds of things. They're relationships. And relationships are built on the power of communication, and especially effective communication. And the only way that relationships get stronger is by the time that's spent. Like, the less time you spend with somebody, and there's probably people in your phone book right now, on your phone, on social media, that you've not had conversations with for a significant period of time. How are those relationships versus the relationships with the people that you're seeing every day, that you actually want to see? Not just are forced to because you work with them, that you actually want to see. How are those relationships compared? What's the comparison there? Because that will have an effect. That will have an effect. That's the power of this business. If you love people, if you want to help people, if you want to contribute to society, then this business, this industry in itself, but this business, especially as an Enagic distributor, brings fulfillment. When you find the essence of it, when you find the essence of why you're doing it, when you create the plan to assist you to move forward, it will help you achieve your goals and dreams. You have to be able to know where you want to go. You have to be able to figure out where you are right now. Don't get caught up all over there. Figure out where you are right now. What do you need to do? What needs to change in order for you to gain momentum to be able to then achieve those results? And don't forget to enjoy the journey. Right? I figured out that I need to adjust my time to create space that I can come in and do the post that I need to do. So I've just before I got on this call, I've set up the next couple of weeks of posts so that I don't have to be concerned about it. But then when I schedule in my time to do that, I'm going to aim to get ahead with my posts so that I'm never behind and I've always got stuff happening. Because otherwise I'm just going to feel overwhelmed and pressured. But it doesn't take much. So every time I do a post, I enjoy the post. So I'm enjoying the journey of it, the creation of it. And I love creation. That's something that fills my cup. So I'm enjoying that creation of it. And then I set the post and schedule it. Forget about it. On to the next post. And you know, sometimes when it comes up, I go, oh, I forgot I did that post. Like, and it's like, oh, I'll read back through. Oh, that was cool. I like that. Because it was, remember, what is created in the moment of where you are in that moment. Like the idea is that in another week's time, for instance, if not just tomorrow, but in another week's time, if I sat down and did that post from fresh, it probably wouldn't be the same. In fact, I'd say it was not going to be the same. It'd be totally different. The image would be different. The language would be different. The copy would be different because of who I've become in just a week. The conversations that I've had with somebody else, the ideas that I've got from conversations or seeing stuff on social media. And that's the way that I've come to it. I'm like constantly looking for ideas. I'm having conversations. Hey, that was a great idea. Hey, I need to screenshot that. Hey, I need to take a picture of that. Oh, I need to put that down in my notes. Like constantly, because then it makes things easier for me. And the easier that I can make it, the quicker that I am, which means I'm more productive, not busy. Remember how I started this call? Master of productivity, not master of being busy. Busy is an excuse that allows us to go, oh, you know, I just don't have the time. Or no, master of productivity. That's the goal. So I trust that you've received value from this. Let me know in the group team chat as to what was your biggest takeaway with this. Really want to hear more. I'm going to drop in, as I mentioned, I'm going to do a post about the Grant Cardone gift that I'm going to give you all. And also on the next team call, I'm going to be interviewing Arif Ayaz. So Arif is going to be talking about what he's been doing, probably been the biggest in the team. I've seen the biggest level of growth in him personally. I've seen the biggest level of growth in his marketing. He's got incredible momentum. He's actually getting a lot of conversations in with people. He's personally growing through all those interactions. And for me to witness that as the sponsor, and it's irrelevant whether I'm directly sponsored or indirectly sponsored, for me to witness that level of growth is one of the gifts in life, as well as to be able to receive the gratitude. You know, you don't have to go onto the Your Kangen Water Guy Facebook or Instagram page, in particular Facebook page, to see on my post the level of gratitude and how he shows up. And with that level of mindset and communication, there's only one way that he's going to go. But that doesn't mean that other team members aren't doing anything, because they are. But Arif is going to be interviewed. He's going to drop in with his what's been working well, what wasn't working well, the improvements that he's made, the shift that he's had to make. So hopefully that's going to inspire and support you as well. So enjoy the rest of your day, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for your time. Apologies, I've gone over an hour, but I'm sure that there was at least one golden nugget that you can take away. All right, bye for now.